Hi, I'm Antoinette Zloty, and I'm your host of Transitions. Today we have an interesting topic, and the topic is Art City right here in West Broadway, Winnipeg. Besides an interview with the director, Eddie, who will be talking to me about the experience that he's had in joining Art City. We will be looking also at a presentation that Eddie is going to make to some seniors with the Barbados Association of Winnipeg. So, Eddie, could you tell me a little bit about what brought you into the Art City arena?
Well, what brought me to Art City is friends that were already involved there since the beginning. Art City's been around 26 years. And in the early years, I had a lot of friends say, you should be getting involved here. You have art skills, you can work in a lot of different art media, you've got experience working with children, you've got a good sort of temperament, you're nice, and so you should be getting involved here because this is a place that's like every day it's a accessible community space, mostly filled with children who are there to take advantage of access to art programming. And so we need people with energy and who can sort of help us, help these kids realize their artistic goals and their, find their artistic vision through all the variety of art media every week. And so they were really like saying, Eddie, it's time you get involved, come volunteer, we want you to be here. And so eventually I listened and I showed up and I started to volunteer at Art City. And at the same time, I was an artist who cared a lot about a lot of things. So take anyone who is stressed out about the things that are happening in the world that affect people in an unequal or unjust way. It's far better to actually do something about it than to sit and stress about it or worry. It feels so much better when you actually get involved and do something.
So, you mentioned children. What about seniors? Are there certain times of the week that you find that seniors are more interested, like daytime when the kids are in school? Do you do any programming for older adults?
We do. So there's Art City, our building at 616 Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, based on the impact that Art City has had in the West Broadway neighborhood over the last 26 years, we get a lot of calls from people who want that programming in their spaces. So it might be an organization, another organization in Winnipeg, primarily downtown, but sometimes even as far as out as the rural municipalities. And we if there's a budget, we can make arrangements and send staff during the day to work with groups. Or groups come to Art City and use the space, and then we just book our facilitators to work and present different workshops.
So just to wrap up before we go to see your presentation,
Sure.
Could you tell me a couple of things that have made a real difference in the lives of people, like, or a couple of examples of situations that really stood out, that where you saw some change come about as a result of affiliation or use of Art City?
I would say any situation where like the young people started attending Art City and really benefiting from the programming. Like creativity is an inherent part of the human experience. But some of us are more driven to create than others. Like some of us really just can't help it. And imagine not having access to the space and the tools to express yourself. It can be very frustrating and lead to all sorts of frustration so I think we've got some of the staff that are working now at Art City started attending as a young child, really enjoyed the programming, ate dinner that we served every night, and really thrived in the environment, and then ended up volunteering as a teenager or a young person, became a junior staff and now a very integral part of our programming. I think seeing those people grow up, because I've been there long enough to see it, and then be able to help the young kids that are coming in today the same way that they were helped out is very satisfying, and that's one of my favorite things about Art City.
Thank you so much. So now we will go on to the presentation to the Barbados Association of Winnipeg and the seniors group that's gathered today to hear a little bit more about Art City and to actually do an art craft project together.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
As you know, I'm Beatrice Watson, and today I'm standing in for Carolyn, who couldn't be here today, and she was going to be standing in for Kathy, who is away on holiday. We also have to share the sadness with Barbara Thompson, who has lost her daughter-in-law, so we are sending her a lot of love and prayers at this time. Today, however, the light goes on and we have an exciting program today. If you're a crafts person, you're going to be in heaven today because today we're going to be doing crafts. But we also have a guest speaker, and he is Eddie Ayub, and he is going to present on the his organization, which is Art City in Winnipeg. He's the artistic director, and that Art City is an organization that provides barrier-free programming to children and community members of all ages and abilities. So we are included in that. Eddie has been an Art City for 21 years and has been a director for 12 years. And this program is brought to you by the Barbados Association of Winnipeg, and it is called Standing Together. Thank you and welcome to our program today.
Thanks, Beatrice. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody. Yes, I'm Eddie Ayub. I work at Art City. It sounds like a lot of you might be familiar with this building. It's at 616 Broadway, near the corner of Broadway and Yonge Street. And how many of you have actually seen this or even been to it? One hand went up. We make it a really bright, inviting building because Art City is open to all ages. It was formed 26 years ago in response to a lot of the sort of lack of resources that was happening in the West Broadway neighborhood. And it was originally designed mostly for children who were in the neighborhood, like elementary school age children, middle school age and high school age children. But as soon as we opened, it became apparent that art, because it's just a fundamental part of the human experience, it was very important for to open up to all ages. And so everybody of any age can come to Art City. And so I'm going to show some slides of the people that attend, but it really is like the purest definition of a community space. It's open after school right at 3:30 because it's designed primarily for young people. But again, like everybody can attend. And we do get a lot of seniors on any given day coming to participate in the programs. Art City was founded by artist Wanda Coop. Wanda is a Winnipeg artist, has a career that takes her all over the place, has a very good art career, but also like a really big heart. And in the 90s, living in the West Broadway neighborhood, really wanted to sort of do something to address the situation that was going on in the neighborhood, which was a lot of just under-resourced young people with not enough to do and not enough opportunity. And so this worked towards changing that. And Art City's vision is to dream, to imagine, to create a space for art in every life. And so that means every life, which is why we include everybody, all ages and all abilities. So this is the photo of the interior. This is the main drop-in space. When you first come to Art City and walk in the door, you're greeted, and the staff will sort of explain to you what's going on, on any given day. So that could be, in this case, we were making ceramics in the main drop-in space. Usually that program happens in the basement. We have 2 levels. There's a little stairway that goes down in the basement. If you show up for something like ceramics or our photography program, and you have a tough time with stairs, currently we'll just bring the art media and the tools and equipment upstairs so you can participate. But we're always trying to improve the space. We own the building, so we can apply for grants. And one of the long-term goals is to raise enough money to put an elevator or a lift in to get people downstairs. So here's just a couple of images from the early days of Art City. That's Wanda, some of the kids who were dropping in, and one of the early directors. And this is what the space looked like circa the year 2000. About I guess 20 years ago or more. And this is what so the previous occupant of 616 Broadway was a nightclub. So there were still mirrors all over the walls and black and white tiles on the floor and a disco ball, very dusty disco ball up in the ceiling. And so, but it hadn't been used in any official way for a long time. It was pretty dusty and full of cobwebs. And so it was available for this very experimental community project because there wasn't really a precedent in Winnipeg for a free art program. Most sort of community programs were based around, say, like gym games. You'd go and participate in sports, but there wasn't really that kind of program, built around art. And so this was really one of the first of its kind, certainly in North America. And I think because of that, we've been studied abroad all over, in different places around the world. In fact, there's a book about Art City in Korea right now that's been so popular that it's going into a second printing because they took a real interest in our, the way we were able to work with community, be inclusive, and really make a huge impact. So here's more images. This is like day one, the first day that Art City was open. And I just want to draw attention to the child with the baseball mitt standing there. He was just a little kid there. He was the son of one of the staff that worked at Art City. That was a senior facilitator when I came, and I was new and young, and that's who sort of taught me how to work at Art City. So his dad is Kevin Joseph, was one of the first Art City staff people. That's Calvin Joseph. And then he grew up, and you'll see, I refer to some of the kids who came into Art City as children, grew up and became staff members, mentoring children the way that they were mentored when they were little. So Calvin had a really good stint as our digital photography instructor. And Calvin today is a really great photographer, and he comes and actually documents some of our special events. So, he's very much part of the Art City family. And this is also another image from the first day we opened. This is Kathy Coop, Wanda's sister, who's a really prolific ceramic artist. Wanda's a painter, Kathy's a ceramic artist, and so a lot of these kids were introduced to actually using a ceramic wheel and making something right away, as soon as they just came right off the street. And we still use the same equipment. We've been using the same pottery wheels for more than 2 decades. This is just a recent photo of the program, still teaching kids how to make pottery on the wheel and also with hand building. I just have a few images here of the, just sort of this is a little space at the very front of the building. There's these big windows because the original purpose of 616 Broadway was to be a retail or a commercial space. I think there may have been a fruit stand there in some decades past. It's an older building. And so this is a little nook where the kids will sort of gather, and we have cushions and couches there. And they just sort of squish into every space in the building. Because it's all ages, we have siblings of different ages that can participate. So we don't divide by age or gender or anything like that. It's really, again, the truest definition of a community space. Here we have a mother and her son that would regularly participate. And then the middle school age child is not related to them, but it's just very familiar enough and friendly enough that he can photobomb this little moment. And I think just because we're all in close proximity, some people come to Art City literally every day to partake in the programs because there's no limit to how often you can show up. There's no registration. It's free of charge. So it really becomes kind of a big family environment, a very intergenerational environment. Here, a lot of activities, as a parent, you might bring your child there or your grandchild and end up sitting on the sidelines or waiting out in the car in the parking lot drinking a Tim Hortons coffee or something. In this case, this father came in with his daughter the week we were doing screen printing on t-shirts. And rather than sit on the sidelines, he actually was involved and helped his daughter with her project. And then she was very proud of this cool t-shirt that she designed. We also have moms with babies that come in. Lots of moms with babies and strollers will come into the space, and they can just participate for as long as that makes sense. If the baby starts fussing, you know, they can either just go to sleep or they wheel them home, and it's not a big interruption because everybody is arriving at different times, everybody is leaving at different times, whatever suits their schedule or whatever might be happening that day. And here is Kiana, the grown person in this photograph on the right. She was a little child when I was, you know, when I was in my 20s. So I was a younger staff person. Kiana was the little kid coming in just about every day, and then this girl, you know, gets to enjoy mentorship from Kiana, who's now one of the main facilitators at Art City and runs our Indigenous art program. Every week we have a film photography program. This is in addition to what happens in the drop-in space. So this film photography is traditional black and white film photography. We use a dark room, we use film cameras, and we teach people how to use the cameras, how to develop the film, and actually make prints. So here's just some of the kids. For them, it's magic because most everybody, you don't even use a digital camera anymore. Most people just use their phones to take all their photos. And rather than have a family photo album that's printed, you know, like a hardcover sort of photo album, you just scroll through your phone. So thank you so much for having me today and being interested in Art City. Thanks to Antoinette for inviting me, and I hope you all have enjoyed. It's been a real pleasure.
It's very interesting.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks to all our viewers for joining me here on Transitions. I really feel that I've learned a lot today about Art City, and I hope that the Barbados Association and other associations look at doing some workshops on art, and maybe we can create some of the wonderful things that the younger generation is working on. But also, because some of you might have missed episodes that we've done through Transitions, I'd like to invite you to go on YouTube and look at some of the previous episodes that have been made. So thank you so much, Eddie, for being on my show. I really have enjoyed, speaking with you, and look forward to visiting Art City in the near future.
Thank you.